We're doing it in a couple of ways. Under the leadership of my Secretary of Education, Arne Duncan, we've launched an initiative called Race to the Top. And through Race to the Top, states are actively competing to produce innovative math and science programs, to raise standards, to turn around struggling schools, and to recruit and retain more outstanding teachers. And when budget cuts across America threatened the jobs of countless teachers, we fought some tough opposition to save the jobs of hundreds of thousands of educators and school workers, because nothing's more important than the investment we're making in education. These are the folks in the classroom right now who are there because we refuse to accept a lesser education for our children, even when the economic times are tough. But what I've said for a long time is that success is not going to be achieved just by government. It depends on teachers and parents and students and the broader community supporting excellence. And that's why last year I challenged scientists and business leaders to think of creative ways that we can engage young people in math and science. And it was interesting when I was talking to some folks, how did you get interested in this? How did you first enter a robotics contest? And a lot of times it turned out that a young person had been inspired because they had seen some older kid involved in a robotics contest, or there had been a teacher who had connected up with some international contest, and it gave them a focal point for their energy and their attention and their interest. And this is a challenge that will determine our leadership in the 21st century global economy. So we need all hands on deck. Everybody's got to be involved. And I'm pleased that there are a lot of people out there who are answering the call. Companies, non-for-profits, they're coming together to replicate successful existing science programs. We've got new public-private partnerships that are working to offer additional training to more than 100,000 current teachers and to prepare more than 10,000 new teachers in the next 5 years. Businesses are working with nonprofits to launch robotics competitions and other ways for kids to make things and learn things with their hands. And more than 100 leaders from some of the nation's top companies have launched a new organization called Change the Equation to help us move to the top in math and science education. As of this moment, more than $700 million has been committed by the private sector to this historic effort. And today I want to announce two new public-private initiatives. The Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, also known as DARPA, and I think those of you who are interested in science and technology know what an extraordinary role DARPA has played in all sorts of innovations that we now take for granted. DARPA is launching a campaign to inspire young people in science and engineering, to help create what DARPA Director Regina Dugan has called a renaissance of wonder. So, for example, teams of students in 1,000 schools will be able to use advanced 3D printers to manufacture unmanned vehicles and mobile robots for competitions. In addition, leading CEOs are going to be part of a new online campaign to show young people the array of jobs that their companies offer scientists and engineers. And they ought to know. This is an interesting statistic, particularly at a time when young people are thinking about their careers. The most common educational background of CEOs in the SP 500 companies, all right? The nation's most successful, most powerful corporations. The most common study of CEOs is not business, it's not finance, it's not economics, it's actually engineering. It's engineering. So I want all the young people out there to think about that. If nothing can prepare you better for success than the education you're receiving in math and science. And this is a difficult time for our country. And it'd be easy to grow cynical and wonder if America's best days are behind us, especially at a time of economic hardship and when so many people from Wall Street to Washington seem to have failed to take responsibility for moving this country forward for so long. But when you have a chance to talk to these young people that I had a chance to meet with, these incredibly bright and creative young men and women, it can't help but leave you optimistic about our future. And they remind us that this country was not built on greed, it wasn't built on reckless risks, it wasn't built on short-term thinking, it wasn't built on short-sighted policies. It was forged of stronger stuff by bold men and women who dared to invent something new or improve something old, who took chances, who crafted and built, and who tested our assumptions, and who believed that in America all things are possible. We can think of Einstein, Edison, Franklin, Tesla, and the founders of Google and Apple and Microsoft. But now we've got some other people to think about, like Michaela Nelson, who's here today. Where's Michaela? Is she here? There she is, right there. Michaela, I had a chance to, Michaela's from Billings, Montana. She works with an entire team. I'm sorry to embarrass you here, Michaela. She's like, oh, God, he called on me. She's representing Will James Middle School. She and her classmates built a solar-powered car that won the design award in the National Science Bowl. She's in 9th grade. She's already trying to earn a pilot's license, and she's working on building an actual plane. She wants to be an engineer. There's no doubt we can expect great things from her. We can think of Diego Vasquez and Antonio Hernandez, representing Cesar Chavez High School in Phoenix. Where are those guys? I met them earlier. There they are right there. They developed a new motorized chair to help a classmate with disabilities and won a grant competition as a result. They did not have a lot of money to do this. They didn't have a lot of advantages in life. In fact, the first time they were ever on an airplane was when they flew to present their invention. But they did have a desire to work together, to help a friend, and to build something that never existed before. And by the way, the way they funded their project, they and their folks made tamales. They had a huge tamale making session, and were selling them, and they were showing me the video of how they raised the funds to be able to enter in this competition. Unbelievable. You know, that's not just the power of science, that's the promise of America. Anybody with a good idea can prosper. Anybody with talent can succeed. That's why we're here today. That's what we're all celebrating, and that's why it's so important that we promote math education and science education on behalf of not just this generation, but all the generations to follow. So to all the young people who are here, I could not be prouder of you. I expect some of you to be back here as Nobel Prize winners and whatnot. In the meantime, just keep on doing what you're doing. And to the parents and the teachers who have helped to inspire these young people, thank you. What you're doing is paying huge dividends, not just for the young people themselves, but for the country. We're very proud of you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Dan.